If it's not today, then it will never be tomorrow. And what I mean by this is we like to put off things for the next day all the time just because we don't feel like it. We like to clean slate a lot of the things that we want to do in life. That clean slate is comforting because it gives you a guaranteed start time. However, whenever that day comes around, what is the key thing that you end up doing? Putting it off yet again, not starting. I myself am a person who has done this before. And this repeated cycle is something that you must step out of, something that you must break yourself. Otherwise, you will constantly do the same thing with not even the consistent thing that you're trying to start, but with various other things. You want to be able to solidify and have that foundation set in order to start something that you have no idea or prior experiencing in starting. And that anxiety is something that constantly allows you to be okay with putting it off for tomorrow. And with these things, you have to sacrifice today's comfortability. Be uncomfortable today for tomorrow's ease. It gets easier the more you practice, the more you do it. That's why the 1% rule, trying to get 1% better each and every day, is a prime example of that. It doesn't have to be as intense as getting 1% better because that means it takes 100 days to get better over time, yet it may not take 100 attempts in order to be successful at something. It may not take the 101st attempt, but you have to keep attempting. You have to keep going after it. Otherwise, you will constantly diminish yourself by even trying to do something that you have no idea what you're doing. It is okay to start afraid. It is okay to start with your doubts because trust me, so many people have doubts. It is a human thing to doubt yourself. It is a human thing within society to not break away from that gradient, to just go with the flow and be at ease with everything. You don't want to stay in the confines of your comfortability because you will never grow. You will never grow if you're constantly comfortable. And granted, the example of this is whenever you go to the gym and you lift the same weights, your muscles will start getting used to it. It will no longer be fatigued, worn out, or tear from this weight because it has refined itself from that very moment. And in order to get better, you must put on more weight to get stronger. But if you're not putting behind more action and taking those baby steps towards whatever it is that you want to do in life, you will stay in the same place. It takes it can take you 3 months or 6 months to even see change. But within a year, you will have definite progress. We want to see things instantly. And that is why the downfall of us constantly is near, because we are trying to see and compare ourselves to the now and tomorrow. What are you comparing yourself to? Because that comparison should be you versus you. It should not be in comparison to you versus anyone else, even though they are on the same path or doing the same thing as you. Your journeys are completely different. Yes, the paths, key thing, are similar, but your journey is different. Your story is different. You cannot diminish yourself just because someone else is more successful in doing something that you have set forth to do. Even if you started before them, that is their destiny. You are destined for something different. You are destined for a different time process. So you should not hinder yourself due to the expectation of being at a set place at a certain time. Accept for who you are right now. Accept where you are right now and change into whatever you see fit. You can go wherever it is necessary, but you must give yourself grace and give yourself the time to evolve. You cannot change overnight. This is not an overnight thing. This is a constant ongoing journey. And this journey it's literally the rest of your life. This is your story. And you can turn the page. You do not have to stay stuck on the same chapter or reflect back on those previous chapters that is hindering you from turning the page to a new chapter. The past is an experience that you take with yourself that you can reflect on to make sure you don't make the same mistakes. But it's okay to make mistakes. Failures are meant to happen. And that's why a lot of the time, whenever I bring up failure, it resonates with me so much to have the saying that when you stop, when you give up, and you stop pursuing whatever it is that you have started, that is 100% certainty that you have failed at that task. Your expectation on being proficient at something that you are starting up or you have started and you do not have the experience to back it up, you must understand that everything comes in due time. You have to have the belief within yourself and the persistence to show up even on the days that you don't want to. And in reality, a lot of us have those days, those moments, those feelings of not wanting to do something, yet you know exactly what it is that you need to do. So why not do it? Circling back to starting today. Today is the only day that you have and guaranteed. And sacrificing today's comfort for tomorrow's ease is definitely something that can confuse you a bit because tomorrow is not guaranteed. However, you have today. And with tomorrow not being guaranteed, you might want to think about being comfortable in today, saying that today is the only day that I have, so why must I sacrifice that comfortability? Reason being is you have to take that risk. And when taking that risk, it allows you to go through that uncomfortable fire better than what you were beforehand. Not taking the risk is a risk in itself because you're risking betterment of oneself. You do not want to stay in the same place just because you're comfortable and that is something that is guaranteed for you to have, because along the lines you will reflect back on the times that you wish you have started and you will not get that time back. Beating yourself up about the time that has elapsed, the time that has passed since starting something, and realizing all of the time that you could have had you started that day is something that should wake you up, and seeing that it is possible, you are capable, and it can happen at any moment for anyone. With this being in particular, I like to reflect a lot on my past self, my previous self, and being true to yourself, being authentically yourself, and being open to admitting that this is something that you have previously done. This is something that you have previously done. This is a pattern that has persisted within your given lifetime. You have to truly own up to it and change your patterns. It is hard to break a habit, but it's not impossible. You must break the habit of complacency in order to grow, in order to do something on a grander scale. So when it comes with persistence and constantly showing up for yourself, just know you are not alone. Nobody in this world is proficient at every single thing that they do. They may have skill, they may be fantastic, but they are not the elite every single time. It takes practice, it takes persistence, it takes constantly putting action behind action, brick by brick. Build that foundation, build that action, build that persistence, and hone in on what it is that you want to refine. This refinery for me comes with consistency on talking on camera. There are still moments where I am doubtful, I am afraid, nervous, yet you have to keep working through that fear. You shouldn't let fear paralyze you from getting to where you want to be. And fear itself is an emotion, and you can change that emotion. You can change that feeling. You have to embody what it is that you want to do and to just do it. You're able to look back on the progress that you've made, and you can change from that point. And with that being said, don't allow today's feelings to dictate whatever it is that you want to start. Don't allow today to turn into, I'll do it tomorrow, doing it tomorrow. Do it today, and do it confidently.